But Ari Fleischer wants. Fleischer was White House press secretary under President George W. Bush.
Could you imagine the uproar there would be if somebody said that all blacks need to leave America and go home to Africa? They would have already lost their jobs. And I had nothing but respect for Helen. We always ideologically disagreed, but I liked her.
Yeah, that was my next point. I know that people disagree ideologically, but you can still be friends or still be co-workers. Have you reached out to her at all? Have you tried to talk to her about why she said this?
No, I haven't directly tried to get in touch with Helen. And I always admired the fact that she was in her 80s when I was the press secretary and came to work every day. But this is so different. This isn't a unique category. And if people can say this and just get a basic pass at it and put out a statement later, as she did, calling for tolerance, when she herself engaged in one of the most intolerant statements anybody could ever make, people should not sit by silently. Hearst should not continue to employ her. Even the signal that would be sent if they gave her a 2-week suspension would be very powerful about telling people what is right and what is wrong and how far people should go to express their political views.
Yeah.
It's abhorrent to say that any ethnic group, racial group, or religious group should have to leave and go home to where they came from. It's a terrible thing to say.
You guys really used to go at it, and you brought that up. Let's take a look at 2001, and then you and I will talk about it.
President to meet with Yasser Arafat.
John, as soon as we have anything to announce, if we do, we will let you know.
That's not an answer. This has been a very one-sided dialogue. You have not talked to any, the president has not talked to any Palestinian leader face-to-face, and want to know why.
Helen, the president has met with many.
Two sides to this conflict, you know.
The president has met with many Arab leaders who have come here and met with him in the Oval Office.
They're not Palestinians.
And Secretary Powell, as you know, will be meeting with the Palestinian Authority tonight, tomorrow, and the next several days.
You have to appreciate her tenacity as a journalist to do something like that. But did you sense any bias when you worked together with her?
Oh, of course, and that bias is fine. She's a columnist. She's entitled to her bias. That's what columnists do. And Helen is very pro-Palestinian, pro-Yasser Arafat. That was her point of view, and I never minded the ideological clashes that Helen and I would get into. I wrote about her actually very fondly in my book. But this is a category unto itself. This is the type of discrimination. It's a call for religious cleansing, that all Jews need to get out of Israel. To go home where they came from. Nobody would accept this if it was said about other racial groups or religious groups. And so people should not accept it from Helen Thomas.
I want to say that she did apologize, and here's what she says. She says, I deeply regret my comments I made last week regarding the Israelis and the Palestinians. They do not reflect my heartfelt belief that peace will come to the Middle East only when all parties recognize the need for mutual respect and tolerance. May that day come soon. Apparently, you're not satisfied with that, and apparently her agent and the co-author of her book are not satisfied as well with that.
No, and I think it tells you something when a group that's in the business of making money, a speaking agency, says that from a moral point of view, they no longer want to represent her. That's a powerful statement about right and wrong, and I salute them for doing that and saying that. But I think that apology is too little, too late. How can somebody who expresses such hatred in their heart then right away call for tolerance and acceptance? That's hypocritical. That's what you do after you're caught and you want to get out of being caught.
Are you concerned about any, I don't know, alienation from people who may not agree with you on this issue?
Well, listen, I've already gotten hate mail sent to me that's anti-Jewish. I'm Jewish, and that's one of the reasons I take offense to what she said. I have relatives who live in Israel. She's telling my relatives to get out. But it goes beyond that. I'm an American. And as Americans, we all need to stand together and say to people who practice hate, and Helen's words were hateful, that this is not going to be accepted. And that's why it's so important that we hear from Hearst. What will Hearst do?